Right now, I'm not in Canada, Italy, or Austria. I'm saying hello to you from a remote part of China. We came back to this fascinating country exactly a year and a half later to explore different parts which we didn't manage to see last time. During the following 3 weeks, we will explore beautiful nature as these almost 7,000 meters tall mountains. We will venture to the biggest city in China you've probably never heard of, as well as getting close to the border with Mongolia and venturing inside Gobi Desert. It will be a fascinating time and I'm super excited to be back. Our journey started in Shanghai, home to 30 million people. It felt great being back after exactly 1.5 years. We had some work here to do, but there was another reason to start in Shanghai, getting our Chinese driving license so we can rent a car and drive in Yunnan and Gansu Province. Because we already did the same process of acquiring this license 1.5 years ago, we knew exactly what to do. A quick stop at the translation center, followed by a visit to this massive police complex. 30 minutes of watching a silent safety video with Chinese subtitles later, and we had our license in hand. The next morning, we caught a 3-hour flight south to Yunnan Province, region bordering Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, and also Tibet. If you're looking for China's most beautiful regions, then this has to be in the top 3 places you can visit. We're talking mountains reaching almost 7,000 meters, ancient towns, and some of the deepest canyons in the world. And what better way to explore all of this than with our own car? Though in China, as we had already found out last time, renting a car is far from easy. And so we have just arrived to Lijiang, Yunnan Province. And here we are trying to rent a car, which is definitely not an easy task anywhere in China, but we already learned that last time, so now we came more prepared. We sorted out our Chinese driving license in Shanghai. We have paid for a full insurance, so why do we need to pay the deposit? After 30 minutes, we still didn't get fully the car, because there are still some problems. Always going just with a translator. They want our Chinese number, but we have just WeChat, which is this local app that everything works on, but we don't have the Chinese number because we have only SIM card with data. So there are plenty of issues, but hopefully we are already almost there. Signature. Good. We got to a very beautiful place called Yufeng Temple. It's this Buddhist, Taoist temple. It's stretching out, it has multiple floors. There is a garden of 10,000 trees and you can walk here all the way up. There are different halls. Monks are still chanting their mantras. Wow, just look at this. And after exploring the nature parts here in the Yunnan province around the town called Lijiang, We went directly to its center, specifically to its old town. I haven't seen even one foreigner here throughout our time, but there are tens of thousands of Chinese, and I just found out that annually more than 50 million visitors from all around China come here to this place. So that's why it looks like this. The next morning, we visited one of the deepest canyons in the world, Tiger Leaping Gorge. It's right here where you can find the narrowest part of the Yangtze River, the longest river in Asia and third longest in the world. The legend has it that it's right here in the narrowest part of the Yangtze River that a tiger jumped to the other side using one rock in the middle. But no matter if the legend is true or not, seeing the incredibly tall mountains and super powerful Yangtze River makes this place absolutely stunning. From the canyon, we continued 3 hours north until we got to a town named Shangri-La and went inside the most iconic temple. Right in the center of Shangri-La town, you can find this stunning Tibetan temple called Dafo. It's a very beautiful temple, very similar like in other parts of Tibet with Tibetan flags and these beautiful golden buildings. And there, a few meters from here, there is the traditional Tibetan prayer wheel made of gold. It's very, very big. This one I think is maybe 10 meters tall. So we are going to walk and explore the rest of the complex. And I think this is already a very nice start to these 3 days in Tibetan part of Yunnan province. Well, we just went out for dinner here in Shangri-La, and I didn't even took my camera because I was just expecting that we will grab some food and go back to the hotel to do some work. But here we stumbled on this giant party in the middle of the town where all the people are dancing in the circle around kind of these traditional Tibetan dances that I did in Lijiang a few days ago. It's just stunning. It's 8 p.m. and people are just dancing like this on Thursday evening. Good morning. Today we decided to go even further, and from Shangri-La we headed to a place called Mailin Mountain, and it's the tallest mountain in Yunnan province. It has a height of 6,800 meters, and it's also the closest place you can get to without crossing into Tibet. And we have officially surpassed 4,000 meters above sea level. Good morning. Today the weather turned out to be absolutely stunning. As you can see, compared to yesterday, it's a blue sky, sunny, and we can finally see the mountains. Yesterday when we asked one local, he said that they were here for 1 week and haven't seen the mountain peaks, and today the luck is on our side, and as you can see, this is just stunning. Those mountains are almost 7,000 meters tall, and as you can see, the mountain range is very long, and those parts of the mountains, those are actually already in Tibet, because those mountains divide Yunnan province and Tibet, and wow, it's just insane. It wasn't only about the mountains. Even though we were slowly heading back, we still found such a beautiful nature everywhere around. Driving in more than 4,000 meters above sea level, driving through forests and 6,000 meters mountains everywhere around really made me feel like I'm somewhere in Dolomites, Austria or Canada. And because we are already above 4,000 meters, you can find this fresh snow. And yeah, 0 degrees, mountains, those are like 5,500. And yeah, you can find places like this here in China. Because we are so close to Tibet, you can find many small Tibetan temples scattered around this part of Yunnan, and we of course visited few of them. For the first time during this trip in China, we managed to find a place like this where we are completely alone. There are no people anywhere around, and we can just freely walk inside the forest. Really reminds me of forests that I have back home in the Czech Republic. Only thing is that here there are Tibetan flags, and we are 3,500 meters above sea level. This behind me is Yangtze River, which goes through Yunnan Province, and just a few kilometers from here, it flows into the Tiger Gorge, where we were a few days ago. And it's fascinating that this is the third longest river in the world and the longest in China, almost 6,000 kilometers. It goes through the whole entire China, and on its shores there are many of the biggest cities, including Chongqing, Wuhan, and even Shanghai. And in Shanghai, the Yangtze River flows into the sea. And last year, we were actually at the source of not only Yangtze but also Mekong and Yellow River in Qinghai Province on the Tibetan plateau, where we were at 5,000 meters above sea level at a group of two lakes, which are considered as the source of all of these three rivers. So if you want to go on a bridge in China, then you have to cross these narrow gaps. It seems like the bridge is closed, but it isn't. I have no idea why they put this here. And just like that, we visited one last beautiful temple. And with that, our time in Yunnan slowly came to an end. I really have to tell you that this region of China was one of the most beautiful parts I've seen in the country. But next morning, the second chapter of the trip began. Good morning from Lijiang Airport. Right now we are hopping on a 7 a.m. flight, and we are flying to the biggest city in the world that you've probably never heard of. After a quick 1.5 hour flight, we arrived in a megacity that's straight out of a science fiction movie. Over 34 million people live here, yet only a small number of foreigners have ever heard about this place. It's where trains go right through buildings and where you're walking on a square only to find out you're on the 22nd floor. This city will blow your mind. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chongqing. We are right in the center of Chongqing. And compared to this, New York is just a small village, but unlike there, here it's completely safe. I could just put here my backpack and come in 1 hour and it would still be there. And here you can find all of the most famous brands like Rolex, Gucci, Omega. Everything is right here, and everywhere around you can see very high skyscrapers, and new ones are still being built. But the most incredible thing about the city, Chongqing, is that from outside of China, almost nobody has ever heard about the city. Well, 34 million people call it their home, and we are going to continue to explore it. Let's go. As we were super hungry by this point, we discovered one insane buffet restaurant. So we are at this incredible vegetarian buffet restaurant right in the center of Chongqing, next to stores like Rolex, Gucci, and like that. And the price to get here, all you can eat, is just 20 yuan, meaning about $2.50. So come along and I will show you what they have here. First things first, which I'm gonna get are the dumplings, which I absolutely love here in China. There are multiple different types. Sweet potatoes. Here there are some spices. I'm not gonna put these ones. So, bon appetit. Well, that's 2 rounds of the buffet and I'm completely full. After exploring Chongqing the entire afternoon, we did some work in the evening and were excited for the full day of exploring tomorrow. One of the most unique things you can find in Chongqing is a train station located inside a residential building, meaning trains go actually through the building itself. So of course, we had to check this out.
The next station, Lijiang, is the one where the train goes inside the house, and as you can see, there are a lot of people that are wanting to capture this moment, so it's not going to be easy, but let's try to get right in front to see the action.
离子坝站到了，右侧车门打开前，请不要触摸车门，以防夹伤。有到离子坝凉山街的乘客，请在这里。
And hello. So here the people normally live in this building, and the monorail is just going through. Well, welcome to Chongqing. Some people believe that it was made only afterwards, that they just drilled the hole inside, but that's not true. The true story is that they really designed it approximately at the same time. Since then, it has become quite a known attraction here in Chongqing, and nowadays, because of social media like TikTok, etc. here in China, so many Chinese from all over China are coming here to take photo. Imagine you're just walking here on the square, very beautiful. You come to the end to see how it looks like, and suddenly you realize you're on the 22nd floor. Well, welcome to Chongqing.
After it gets dark, that's when Chongqing really comes alive. Seeing all the skyscrapers light up, streets full of people, the entire city is one big light show, and you really feel like in some science fiction cyberpunk movie.
Guys, never in my life have I seen so many people in one place as here in Chongqing. Like, this is something crazy. Compared to this, even Shanghai is almost empty because like this, insane. Everyone wants to take photo of these buildings, which are beautiful, but like now I can finally understand what it looks like when 34 million people live in the same spot. It's really incredible to witness the Chinese tourism in practice. As you probably can hear, there are tens and tens of people shouting, and those are the photographers that are offering a service to take you a photo here with the bridge and with the skyline, and everyone is offering it on some iPad or some paper, and now everyone has a speaker and is instructing the Chinese what they should do, how they should stand. It's a complete madness, and this is the reality of Chongqing.
After our last evening in Chongqing, it was time to say goodbye to this megacity, because the next day early morning, it was time to head to a completely different part of China.
Good morning. We scored a 6:55 a.m. flight all the way to Gobi Desert to a town called Dunhuang.
We were heading north to Gansu Province, specifically to a city called Dunhuang. In the following days, our plan was to explore this region and venture into the incredible Gobi Desert, one of the oldest and largest deserts in the world.
We are about to land at Dunhuang Airport in Gansu Province in Gobi Desert, and I just heard one of the weirdest announcements that I've ever heard during my, 300, 400 flights I've been on, and that is that during landing, you have to close all your window shades and you aren't allowed to look outside when you are landing, and to take videos, and also during taxi and on runway. Well, That's quite strange. And we have arrived to Chongqing Airport. Hopefully I can record some videos now and I won't get arrested. But now we are again going to do the hassle of renting a car. We have this quite a big car, which will be definitely useful here in the Gobi Desert.
Straight from the airport, we headed towards the desert. After visiting Yunnan and Chongqing, it felt surreal to see once again a completely different side of China.
We're just walking here in Gobi Desert and suddenly there's a pedestrian light. Behind me you can see dunes of multiple hundreds of meters high. And well, we have a green light, so we can go. Well, welcome to China. This is the part of the experience because it's just so bizarre. So here's a walkway. Funny thing is that all of the Chinese have purchased these bright orange shoe covers so they don't get sand in their shoes, and now everybody's walking with it. So look. Another early morning start, but today we kind of changed up the mode of transport and heading to a city called Zhangye. On the border between Gansu and Inner Mongolia province, we stumbled upon this incredible canyon called Pingshasu Grand Canyon or something. I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it really feels like I would be in Grand Canyon in Arizona, US. Again, this is the place that I really wouldn't have associated with China at all. If I would see some photos from here, I would never guess that I'm in China right now. Well, China is full of surprises. Here in Gansu Province, in the city of Zhangye, we found probably the biggest supermarket in China that I've seen so far. So we have these, another type of crabs, this kind of fish, a lot of fish, and then most interestingly, you can buy frogs here. So half a kilo is for 20 yuan, which is like $2 or $3.
The next morning, we crossed into Inner Mongolia province. The reason was that a few weeks ago, when planning this China trip, I stumbled upon one surreal photo of a temple right next to a lake, with incredibly tall sand dunes in the background somewhere deep inside the Gobi Desert. I first didn't know if this place even exists and if it's possible to get there. There were practically no informations about this place, but somehow I found an approximate location where it should be, and so that's why, with no plan, we came to Zangye, and now we were heading for 6 hours into Inner Mongolia.
Well, we were just on our way to the desert here in Inner Mongolia, but we were just stopped by this soldier and we found out that we cannot go further because they are having some military exercise. We are already on our way to the Gobi Desert, but we have absolutely no idea how to enter there because some people said that we cannot go on our own. So this is quite an improvised trip we're doing now. So we just arrived. There's this enormous tourist information center, but it's locked. There's no one. And back there's the entrance to the desert, but there's a huge gate. It's locked. Now we can't tell you when, but you don't have to report it if you don't stay, coże? I first thought that the road inside the desert will be kind of okay, but it turned out that it's very, very extreme. And so in the end, we decided to hop inside the car of this local guy, and he will take us all around 100 kilometers through the desert.
After just a few minutes of driving, it felt like we were on a completely different planet. All around us, there were one of the tallest sand dunes in the entire world, and we were just driving over them. No roads, no signs, nothing. Many times I felt like we were going to roll over in the car. Without a local map, we would really be completely lost. After a while, we arrived to a pink lake inside the desert, which made the landscape even more surreal.
So we have reached the part where even our local driver has a big problem because this, I don't know if you can see it from the video, but this hill, this sand dune is incredibly steep, and also there aren't basically any tracks in there, and it's very, very deep sand. So we already tried twice to get there, but both times got stuck, so went back down, and now the driver is deflating the tires even more, and hopefully we will get there. But it seemed at one moment that we were literally going sideways and sliding down the dune, and I was a bit afraid that we will turn upside down, but fortunately we are still okay, and we'll see if we will conquer this sand dune or not.
On our third attempt, we managed to go over this huge sand dune. But I have to tell you, the feeling of just driving through the middle of nowhere inside Gobi Desert, it was really one of the craziest experiences of my life, and I still didn't have any idea that it would become even more insane. In this part of the Gobi Desert, there are a total of 144 different lakes scattered over the area of 50,000 square kilometers. You can also find here the third tallest sand dune in the entire world, called Bildu Peak, reaching a height of more than 500 meters.
And even though we are still in China, here in the middle of the desert, you can find a huge statue of Genghis Khan, because we are in the Inner Mongolia, and culturally this region is very, very closely tied to Mongolia.
We started seeing more and more lakes, but once we got around 80 kilometers inside the desert, then the landscapes completely blew my mind. And then we reached a place which was the reason why this whole trip even happened.
Oh wow, and we have just reached a place thanks to which I even found out that this area like here even exists. It's that temple that's sitting right next to the lake, and in the background there are these multiple 100 meters tall dunes, and it was really the first and only picture I found when looking around this area, and it intrigued me so much that I just knew I have to find this place and see it for myself. And now coming here and really seeing this temple with my own eyes, well, this feeling is just indescribable.
This isolated Tibetan temple was built in 1755, and because of its location, it remained pretty much intact to this day. We watched the sunset and then went to sleep in a simple yurt right next to the temple.
Good morning from the middle of Gobi Desert. Right now it's about 0 degrees, completely freezing, but this landscape to which we woke up is just stunning. Oh man, I don't have any words for this. The sun is slowly coming up already. There's a light on the tips of the dunes. We are just going to enjoy the last sunrise here in the desert, and it's surreal to think about that tomorrow we'll be in Beijing, but today we are still here.
Just like that, our time not only in this incredible part of Gobi Desert, but also the entire trip in China slowly came to an end. We said goodbye to our driver and then got outside of the desert. And before we knew it, we were already on a plane, heading for a quick final stop in Beijing before saying goodbye to China after an incredible 3-week-long adventure. Once again, China left me speechless. Seeing the incredible nature of Yunnan, old cities and Tibetan temples, ultra-modern city of Chongqing, and then the rugged Gansu Province and Gobi Desert, this trip was unforgettable. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If so, please like this video and subscribe. It will mean a lot to me. And I will see you next time. Goodbye, China, and I'm more than sure that I'll be back soon.